Afternoon, everybody. The Global Compact for Migration has been signed, and tomorrow they're signing the Global Compact for Refugees. So, as I was telling you earlier, there was the Global Compact for Migration was one piece of legislation coming out of the United Nations, and the Global Compact for Refugees is another. And I've done videos about the Global Compact for Refugees. It's terrifying. The first paragraph is, talks about how expensive it all is, and yeah, they're very expensive, and that doesn't even take into account housing them, educating children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm only talking about the PBO numbers of 340 million for 1 year. That's incredible. And if you add the provincial numbers, we're talking close to $1 billion for 1 year of this insane open borders policy. If you want to sign the petition against it, Maxime Bernier supported it. You can sign at the top or scroll down to the bottom. This is the French version, but you can see how many signatures we've got. Oh, and one more will be 60,000, which is great. So make sure you click the link in your email, otherwise your signature will not count. Come and join the conversation. I don't like censorship, and I dislike how much the news articles, etc., stifle the conversation by either closing the comments, or if you go on a place like Reddit or Twitter, you can get mobbed by people who disagree with you, etc. Come and join the conversation. I try to have a free exchange of ideas, but you have to register before you can see any of this. If you go to the form link without being registered, I believe it shows a 404 or it says the form's not there. The form is there, you just have to register. So here's the registration link. Register, check your spam, and then you should be able to access our forum and our conversation, and we'd love to have you, so come and join us. On to today's stories. Somebody told me that the yellow vests were not spraying liquid poo all over the parliament and the government buildings. And one intrepid person found the actual video on YouTube, and it looks to me like it was part of the yellow vest protest. They've got the date here, 12/15/2018. That was the other day, and that's certainly, that is stinky. Holy cow. So yeah, I don't 100%. I can't verify. I'm not out there. I'm not standing in front of this building, and I'm not watching this. But from what I can tell, that is recent. Although I've heard that it's not something that is new. This is something that French farmers do if they get angry. And so, hey, oh, look at, he's backing up. I didn't notice that the first time I watched it. He's backing up to make sure he gets that window. Incredible. Okay, but from what I can tell, it's 2018. It is a modern one, and they have done this in the past too. So this isn't just a yellow jacket protest, but man, this is one heck of a yellow jacket protest, right? Wow, that's going to be rough to walk into that office later. Holy cow. Okay, I wanted to show you guys our Canadian yellow vest, yellow jacket protest, yellow vests, I guess we'll go with. And there's more than one to report, which is wonderful. So this is the first one. Punches thrown during anti-immigration protests in Edmonton. Pro and anti-immigration protesters separated by line of police officers. And this was published December 15th. Quote, at first, a fistfight broke out during an anti-immigration protest in downtown Edmonton Saturday afternoon before police moved in to separate protesters and counter-demonstrators. There were only a few police officers present at Churchill Square when the altercation started, but more arrived after the first punch landed. About 20 officers formed a line to separate the pro and anti-immigration groups comprising about 150 people in total. And you can see video. The link is in the description, as with everything I talk about. And there's an image that shows you kind of what's going on. And this is how something like this starts. Here's Regina, and quote, Regina yellow vest protesters standing up for Canada decry carbon tax UN migration pact, Trudeau. We're protesting the fact that our government doesn't listen to us, says Regina rally organizer. Quote, about 200 people dressed in bright yellow clothing inspired by continuing protests in France gathered on Regina's Albert Memorial Bridge to protest a range of issues on Saturday. The rally comes with the yellow vest protest continues in Paris, where weeks of protests began with outrage over a fuel tax increase, but have morphed into demonstrations against France's high cost of living, income inequality, and French President Emmanuel Macron. Sorry, I keep getting that wrong. They also mentioned that it's a talk about the migration pact, etc., in this article, which is interesting. I came across this picture. Isn't this the whitest alt-right person you ever did see? When somebody starts yelling at you that you're racist, it's not about race. Nationalism isn't about race. I read this recently, so this isn't coming off the top of my head, but nationalism nationalism is not about race. It's about protecting a country, right? And the country can include many different races. And up till now, Canada was one of those countries. But the longer we have open borders and the longer we have weaponized news and media and a divisive prime minister, divisive globalist prime minister in Justin Trudeau, the worse things are going to get. It's not about race. This is not about race. This is about sovereignty. This is about the ability to bring in people who will enhance our country instead of overrun us and milk our social services and welfare gone. They'll drain us. They already are. They spent $1 billion in the last year, $340 million for processing costs federally, $200 million in Ontario, $200 million in Quebec, and those are ballpark figures from both provinces. I have more numbers, more links for the Ontario numbers than the Quebec numbers, but that's just because I don't speak French. Sorry. But my point is, this has already happened, right? Staying silent is agreeing that it's okay. Staying silent is allowing Mr. Trudeau to continue. This is a CTV News. This is a tweet, and then we'll look at the news article. Quote, again, quote, fake news from Canadian mainstream media. 33 countries did not endorse the UN Compact on Migration. CTV mentioned only one, the US. Typical anti-US, pro-Trudeau bull poop. Tomorrow, Trudeau will endorse compact on refugees. That seems to be hush-hush in Canada. And this is a link to the Yellow Vest protests spread to Canada. This is a CTV News report criticizing illegal immigration and taxes. And it says, originally started in France, Yellow Vest protests have moved to Canada. Many were held Saturday across the country criticizing the tax and immigration policies of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his government. The protest against French President Emmanuel Macron, his government, which began as a criticism of fuel taxes, have entered their fifth week. Over 66,000 people decided to defy the government's orders to suspend protests this past weekend. At least 8 people have been killed since riots began in that country. Similar demonstrations have taken place in Belgium, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom in the last several weeks. They made their way to Canada on Saturday with protests and counter-protests hitting cities including Saskatoon, Toronto, Moncton, Calgary, Halifax, and Edmonton. And there's more, link is in the description. Paul Joseph Watson tweets, quote, is it time to officially call this a European spring? And then there's a tweet to RT, and I just wanted to show you this for images of Paris. This is not a positive thing. Like, we don't want to get to this point. We want to solve this democratically, and I hope that we can. But this is a glimpse to what happens when your government doesn't listen to you and there is no way out. The people in the yellow vests, and increasingly dressed in black and covered by their faces, do not want this. And there are videos of a militarized police. There have been, and there's videos all up and down here, and I'll stop scrolling. So I was looking for one that showed more yellow vests, but I was watching the live stream earlier, and there are quite a few, and they're being targeted. So it's not a wonder that things are morphing. But this is not the ideal solution, right? This is on the brink of civil war. This is not a positive thing for day-to-day life. Possibly necessary. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying it's hard. It's a hard road to go down, and when you start going down it, it becomes apparent how hard it is, right? The government, especially the French government, has the UN behind them. They have the resources of the French government behind them. So that's problematic, right? Problematic from the standpoint of a single person trying to join a movement to tell the government to stand down, and you're getting militarized police targeting you, etc. So I'm not saying that this shouldn't happen, but I'm saying this is a glimpse into what happens when you say this far and no farther. You're going to be met with pushback. That pushback is going to come in many forms. So it's something to be aware of. This is not a childish game, right? This is serious. And I hope that people understand that, right? Like 8 people have died according to multiple reports that I've read and I've read on here in France because of this. This is not something to be taken lightly. And I am not advocating for violent protests. I want to be very clear about that too. I think nonviolent, silent protests are the way to go. And that's how the Yellow Jackets, the Yellow Vests in France started. And that's what, I mean, this is a morphing situation. This is news every day, right? This is different every day because the government is making moves and the protesters are making counter moves. And it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch unfold, and it's interesting to see it spread. As it was said, it was happening in the United Kingdom, in Belgium, in Germany, in Belgium and the Netherlands. Sorry, I don't know Germany. Although I think I have seen pictures of yellow vests in Germany as well, but I don't speak German either. So here's the last thing I wanted to show you. Link is in the description. The Yellow Vest Canada Facebook group. I am not on Facebook. This account is disabled, but here's the link, and I just wanted to share this right up with you by this person. It says Lloyd Minister Yellow Vest Rally Woke. Okay, representing on the border, Lloyd Minister, Alberta, Saskatchewan, around 600 people participated in a show of Yellow Vest support for all distressed Canadian citizens of what appears purposeful, malevolent, in current government actions on a variety of different strategic areas affecting us all, none of which was mandated. Change is going to come. It was meaningful and awesome, almost Christmas. Everyone's so busy, no one wished to be there, but no one wanted to be anywhere else. And I wanted to point that out. This is a week before Christmas. This is December 16th. Most people have other things to be doing. They don't want to be out marching in the streets against their government. They want to be shopping for Christmas. They want to be visiting family and friends. It tells you this is massive because of the time of year this is taking place. Really. And particularly in Canada. Again, people are busy. How busy are you? Do you have time to do this? To get yelled at by paid people in black who want to call you names and pretend that they know what they're talking about because some professor told them some lie about history? No, right? We all have stuff to do. Much better than standing around saying Justin Trudeau doesn't represent what we want. But there's nothing more important right now. And I think that it's not just me who thinks that. There's a lot of people in France who think that. There's a lot of people across Canada who think that. And it's spreading. People are talking about this. They're not being silenced or shouted down because they're being called names by these crazy lefties. Because that's what they are. They're crazy lefties, and they need to be told, you're being crazy, stop it. So, and I tell them, but they don't listen. Okay, back to this right up here. Shout out to all those traveling motorists, truckers crossing the border on the Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway slamming on their horns. Appreciate the support, and the sound at times was deafening. Facebook won't let me load videos, so here are some pics. Where we go one, we go all Q. And I saw some pushback on Reddit when I found this picture here saying the QAnon stuff was a big conspiracy theory. Yep, it might be a big conspiracy theory, but I'm along for the ride, and I'm going to watch one way or the other, right? We'll see what happens. But at this point, it's worth at least a little bit of attention, regardless of whether you believe in it or not. To all the combined now 85,000 ordinary citizens of Canada supporting the nation's Facebook Yellow Vest groups in less than 2 weeks, thank you for the platform. For those Canadian citizens not members, we stand on guard for thee. This group is to protest the carbon tax and the treason of our country's politicians who have the audacity to sell out our country's sovereignty over the globalist UN and their tyrannical policies. We are also against the government attempting to buy off the media in an election year and conspire with social media companies to censor our speech. We cannot have a free and democratic society unless we have free speech and the ability to express it as far as and wide as we wish. We are Canadian patriots who refuse to allow this country to walk down the path of tyranny. God bless. And here are images from the protest. We'll see how quickly they load. Hey, look at that. They loaded fast, so that's nice. Let's see if there's a couple of them. Yeah, so this is spreading. There are going to be people who are trying to tell you that it's not. It certainly is. There are people, as Q likes to say, where we go one, we go all. Right? And hopefully, hopefully the will of the public will be heard and heeded by the next government. Who knows? Check out the People's Party of Canada.ca. Maxime Bernier might represent what you are looking for in the next prime minister, somebody who is, in my opinion, a patriot and somebody who can maybe find the way out of this mess. Check it out. Make up your own mind, though. Don't listen to me. Have a good day.